Everyone wants to take their business, their skills, to the next level. Small and mid-sized business owners have exceptional insight into how to do this. They endure and thrive because they find ways to overcome the challenges that come their way, and they can teach us valuable lessons to apply to our own companies and lives. Stephen Nooner, founder and owner of Alkali, a company with a unique process that helps businesses more effectively buy and manage their insurance programs. And Bob Gibbons, builder of Riata Commercial Realty, a real estate advisor and tenant advocate, are two prominent Metroplex businessmen who, along with their weekly guests, will ask their and your probing questions, finding impactful solutions that will help you reach for the next level. Here are your hosts, Stephen Nooner and Bob Gibbons.
Welcome to The Next Level, Conversations that Propel Business. This is your host, Bob Gibbons.
And I'm Stephen Nooner.
We're here today to give new information from the wisdom that is this show.
Wow, that's an awesome start. Stick
really
around
weird.
for the whole 30 minutes. We're here to support the entrepreneur community, have meaningful conversations that hopefully we can all grow from. Is that what you meant?
Stephen's covering for me. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for coming for me last
As long
week.
as you're on a roll, why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest?
All right, well, while I'm on a roll, it is my great pleasure to introduce my dear friend, Marta Frey. Marta is the director of the Collin Small Business Development Center, which provides consulting, training, and resources to help aspiring entrepreneurs start and emerging businesses grow. If you want to learn more about Marta or the SBDC, please visit Collin, like the county, Collin, SBDC.com. Welcome, Marta.
Thank you very much, Stephen and Bob.
Glad you're here today.
I am too.
So the Small Business Development Center in Collin County, I've been there myself. We're looking forward to talking a lot more about that. But before we get to that, we'd like to start off with some wisdom from others. And Stephen, you have a quote from somebody. Why don't you lay that on us now?
Sure. I have two quotes, Bob. Thank you for fixing my mic. You're just my helper in all things. The quote for today is, "The problem is never the problem. The problem is that you don't know how to think about the problem." And that's by Dan Sullivan, a business coach.
And Dan started Strategic Coach.
Coach,
you are a member
which
of.
I'm a member of. So I paid for that wisdom that I just got to share.
So we got it for free. You had to pay for it. I like that formula. So the problem is not the problem. The problem is how you look at the problem.
That you don't know how to think about the
You don't
problem.
know how to think about the problem. I like that because ultimately life is about questions, and it's about how you look at things differently than others, and that's where you find opportunity.
And I like this quote today, and like Marta to weigh in, but I think a lot of times, as I've noticed over the years consulting business owners, that a lot of times we tend to overcomplicate things, and we can make what might be a small problem into something that's even bigger and scarier, and we tend to get paralyzed and don't take action. And so I think that's a lot of times what consulting or good consultants or coaches or different resources like the SBDC do, is they help bring clarity to the complexity, which helps people then have the confidence to take action. And so it's just that you don't know how to look at the problem. You're looking at it from your view, which might seem dire, versus from a simplistic, hey, here's what you need to do.
Well, and I feel like that a lot of people can't see the forest through the trees because they're in the thick of whatever issue they have, whatever concern, whatever problem they're experiencing. So once you have thank you so much, Bob. So once you have an independent, objective type of point of view, or someone helping you look at the issue or the problem in a different way, it makes it a little bit simpler to manage and to be able to resolve.
Very nice. Well, let's move on a little bit. One of the things we asked Marta was tell us something about herself that was unusual or that people may not know. And one of those was she was born in Puerto Rico, but actually I beat you. I was born in Brazil, so it's even farther away. But we're not going to go into that right now.
That's okay.
Please
and
don't.
She knows how to sing.
I do.
She knows how to sing because she was in the Dallas Girls Choir. But the thing that really grabbed my attention the most was that she was on the 7th floor of the Murrow Building in Oklahoma City.
I was.
During the bombing?
During the bombing.
Oh, my goodness.
That
Tell
day,
us about that.
I was actually at the Murrow Building just for the day on a business trip for my family business, and arrived there about an hour and a half earlier than I was supposed to be there. And about 9:02, as I was doing my work for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development that we had a contract with, the bomb blew, and I was at the very edge of the 7th floor.
Wow. So on the very edge, away from where the bombing occurred, or what?
So it's kind of an interesting concept, Bob, because it wasn't until a year later that after going to the reunion or the anniversary of the bombing, I was talking with some other folks that were on that floor. And I had said something about, yeah, luckily we weren't anywhere near the edge, and they very easily started talking to me about, well, where was your purse? Well, the FBI found my purse because that was down in the rubble. Well, where was your briefcase? Well, my briefcase was found by HUD because it was in my desk, in the desk that I was using that day. So basically, my desk was behind, I was behind the desk, and therefore everything in front of me
was gone.
Wow. It was a very weird situation. And I didn't realize it for a year.
How close you were, you mean?
Mm-hmm. So, of course, after many, many years of therapy and a lot of prayer, you realize that the brain is trying to help you, protect you from really understanding how close you were.
So how did you get out of the building? I mean, were there still some stairwells intact that you could
There were some exterior stairwells where the glass had been blown out, and so we were able to find one of those where there was air, and we could go down the stairwell. So that's the only way.
I cannot imagine what that must be like.
It's a game changer, actually. It really is, because after an experience like that, you realize all the cliches are true. The don't sweat the small stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the fact that it gives you a new perspective on life.
Oh, I'm sure.
Being able to move forward in a different way, thinking that, you know what, if I can go through something like this and I'm still around, there must be a reason.
A purpose. Now, what year was that again?
1995.
95.
April 19th and 95.
Not yet become a mother.
I had not. I was actually in the process of trying to become a mother. And about 4 days after the bombing, I was in the doctor's office saying I need to get pregnant right now, because I just thought that was the reason I was spared. And of course, I think very much so that was the reason, because I have two wonderful sons that I adore and are a wonderful part of the community that are very, very special. But also because then it allowed me not only to go from my family business and working within a small business to working for small businesses and to be able to assist small businesses.
Helping others.
And if we can, let's shift gears a little bit and let's talk about the SBDC a little bit. So tell us a little bit about what you guys do and who your typical client is.
Absolutely. So the Small Business Development Center is an organization that was put on this earth by the U.S. Small Business Administration in the 60s. And we are here to not only give one-on-one private consultation, business consultation to aspiring entrepreneurs and to existing businesses to help them grow, but we're also here to help train them or do research for them or assist them in any way that will help them access capital or hire more employees or grow. And so it's kind of interesting because I was, in our family business, I was a client of the SBDC system in the early 1990s.
Wow.
And so I'm a very proud product, and our business was a very proud product of what the Small Business Development Centers do. So, for example, then what we were looking for is we were an engineer, small business, small mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineering design firm. We wanted to grow, and we wanted to start doing government contracts. Well, how do we do that? I don't know. So we went to the Small Business Development Center, and they taught us how to do government contracts, to where by the time my father retired, we were doing about 60% of our business was all government contracts. So it was a huge turning point for us. Another example of the types of clients that we assist may be someone that's looking to value their business. I'm looking to sell, I'm looking to buy, I'm looking to expand, but how much is it worth so I can bring on another partner? That might be another a way to assist. A third way is, for example, someone that is looking to purchase a business or someone that's looking to purchase a franchise and helping them through that process, not only access the funding and the capital that's needed, but also the steps to make sure that they're making the right purchase or maybe the right relocation for their business or the right diversification of their business. I've been selling widgets and now I want to sell gizmos. And so trying to help them evaluate what the market is for a gizmo, what the price points may be, and so on and so forth.
So this is not just for somebody that's wanting to start up a new business.
No, it's for both. It's absolutely for both.
And so I'm leading you here, of course, but that all that consulting and all that, help and assistance and leadership sounds expensive. So there's got to be some big consulting fees a part of the SBDC, right?
That is a lob up.
That is a very big lob up. All of our services are completely free. So someone can come in and talk to us and see us and come to one of our SBDC classes once a week, once a month, once a year, and it's always going to be free. We are a government grant program, and our program specifically at the Collin Small Business Development Center is funded by the U.S. Small Business Administration, the state of Texas, and Collin College. There are SBDCs all over the country, all over North Texas, and therefore they're funded mainly by the federal, state, and local governments in their areas.
So it's not free because I pay taxes, but otherwise it's free. So do you compete with business coaches?
We do in some respects. What's nice about the fact that the SBDC has access to a little bit more and a little bit different than business coaches. So for example, whereas I can pick up the phone and call another organization or another governmental entity and ask questions because I'm a governmental entity, a business coach may not have that access.
I see.
The other thing is that we do have a great group of databases and information management systems that we have access to be able to give to our clients. And so sometimes we work with business coaches to help their clients because they're also a business themselves. So it makes it for a very interesting collaborative opportunity with business coaches, not just that we don't necessarily compete sometimes, but sometimes we can collaborate with them.
That's awesome. And you mentioned databases and information, and I know you guys have a lot on that. What are some examples of resources that people could tap into with you guys?
So, for example, there's something called IBIS World, IBISworld.com, a very expensive database that looks at trends and looks at outlooks of different industries. And that's access that we can give for most businesses for free. Others are things like BizMiner, which allows us to look at financial ratios and benchmarks for companies. Reference USA, this is a database that we have, but you can also sometimes access it at your local library, or you could do some target market lists. So there's quite a few resources that we have access to.
Yeah, I know Frisco has the Reference USA.
Yes.
Plano used to have it, and they got rid of it, unfortunately.
Richardson has it. I believe the City of Allen has it. So you have to look and talk to your local library, but it's a wonderful resource to find out who are your competitors in the area or who might be some of your target market.
So on the ratio one you're talking about, so if I'm in the insurance business like Stephen is, and I want to know, am I paying, what percentage am I paying for labor, for my office space, my whatever, and how does that compare to the industry standard? Is that the kind of thing?
That's exactly what BizMiner will do. What's nice about it is if Stephen has an office in Plano, Texas, that's going to be different if he had an office in Rockwall or if he had an office in Texarkana. So we can look at the ratios differently from different locations and different points of view.
And so I can look at this up and say, man, I better get my tenant rep busy and doing a better job negotiating for me.
Or see if he's any good.
Maybe he's worth his salt.
Absolutely.
Well, you're the director of the Small Business Development Center, city council member, loving wife, and mother of 2 teenagers. What does balance look like, and how do you maintain it? Stick around after the break to find out.
And now, Confessions of a Recovering Landlord.
This is Bob Gibbons with Riata Commercial Realty, and I am your recovering landlord. After 20 years as a landlord, I now use that experience only for the benefit of companies that lease or buy office buildings and warehouses. Today's confession: knowledge is power. We all negotiate from a position of power and strength, or at least we want to. In any negotiation, the party with the most knowledge probably has the upper hand, and landlords count on this being the case whenever you're negotiating a lease, because most landlords are professional real estate investors and they hire professional leasing agents and property managers. Landlords are in the market every day negotiating leases, while tenants probably only negotiate 1, maybe 2 leases every few years. So tenants feel outgunned. Don't let landlords have all the power. As a former landlord for 20 years, I understand how landlords think and what motivates them. So let me put that knowledge and experience to work on your side of the negotiation. To learn more, contact me at TexasTenantRep.com. Again, that's TexasTenantRep.com.
Have you started making plans to take your business to the next level in 2016? Hi, I'm Stephen Nooner, founder and CEO of Alkali. We have a trademark process called the Empowered Advantage that enables CEOs, business owners, and entrepreneurs to more effectively buy and manage their insurance. Before sitting down to make your plans for the new year, here are just a few things to consider. Would you say that you have an actual insurance strategy, one that you can articulate, or have you just purchased a policy here and there over the years? If you have an insurance strategy, was it discussed under the pressure of a renewal deadline or considered earlier in the year to avoid fire drill decision making? If your answer was no to either of these questions, then you may not have the right partner on your team. Visit alkaliservices.com to contact us and take the next step to a bigger and better future.
So my name is Nate Foreman. I'm the president of Foreman Therapy Services, and I'm taking my business to the next level in spite of my time with Bob today.
Welcome back, everyone, to the next level. We're here with our special guest and friend, Marta Frey of the Collin SBDC, Small Business Development Center. If you want to learn more about Marta, you may visit, or the SBDC, you may visit collinsbdc.com. Welcome back.
Well, let's get back to discussing the SBDC and the services you provide. And I want to explore a little bit more about the services you can provide to existing businesses, not just the startup.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit more about that. Hit us on the valuation specifically as well.
Okay, so there are several aspects of an existing business that we can help. Basically, our goal is to help them grow. So whether it may be helping them assess whether an import or an export strategy is important to their development and to their growth plans, that may be an opportunity. Whether it is to help them bring on more investment and help them value their business by figuring out what it's worth, therefore how much more they could take on as a partner or as investment, that's an opportunity.
So if they need money, you can help them figure out where to get it. And if I need to figure out who's going to manufacture and import a product that I've invented, you can help with that too.
Absolutely. And in fact,
Wow.
in our North Texas network area of the North Texas Small Business Development Center network, we can help them take their product and commercialize it. So all of a sudden, again, I was making a widget and now I want to make a gizmo. Where do I find that? How do I commercialize it? How do I get it out to the public, whether it's nationally or internationally? So it's a very comprehensive program for many, many different types of businesses. I'll give you an example. Recently, we had a small Hispanic Latin type grocery store come to us and say, we would like to add 2 or 3 more grocery stores in this market. Where should we put them? We did demographic analysis to help them understand that maybe the Greenville area and then the Texarkana area and the Corsicana area might be the best places for them to grow in those markets. So it's a variety of ways that our business expertise, whether it's the folks in my office at the Collin SBDC or in our North Texas region, that can assist a small business owner in growing. Because adding jobs to the economy and trying to get access to capital so that they can grow is our number one priority.
So there are other SBDCs, and again, I'm lobbing this a little bit, but I mean, so there's a whole network that you guys can tap into and work collaboratively with for different areas of subject matter expertise?
Absolutely. So we're fortunate enough to have SBDCs all over the country, but the North Texas SBDC network is all the way from the Red River down to Waco and from Fort Worth over to Louisiana. So we have about 75 different types of business experts at our disposal that can assist us, whether it's in a retail environment or whether it's in a manufacturing environment, technology, if that expertise is needed.
Well, I got to tell you, I was looking at your website earlier today, and I noticed that Keith Otto is one of your counselors in your office. And I had no idea. He and I serve on the board of a nonprofit called Mind Possibilities. Mm-hmm. And I think Keith is amazing. And I was really, really impressed when I saw he was on staff with you.
He's an amazing addition to our team because of his background in commercialization, in new ideas, and how to develop new ideas within a small business. It's a great addition to our team. His financial background is wonderful.
And I think that's important to note too. This isn't the shop teacher with no fingers. You know, I mean the expertise is real expertise within that. Everyone has a background of either operating a small business, running a small business, starting a small business. I've noticed that trend within your group.
It's an important asset to any of the small business advisors that we have, and that is not only that they've worked with small businesses before in a consulting type of role, but that they've been owners and managers before, not just of a one-person micro business, but they've been managers or have purchased businesses of 35 employees or 25 employees, so that they have the perspective of both sides of being the business owner and being the consultant and advisor to a business owner.
I think that's so important. When I was trying to decide where to go to get my MBA 20-something years ago, I really made that a focus. I wanted to make sure that the professors were people with real-world experience and not just what I call academic weenies that went from kindergarten through their PhD and never had a real job.
Absolutely. It makes a huge impact on the perspective you have in the learning environment, and also as a business, as your business grows, you need that objective. I've been there, done that. I've woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning, sweating, figuring out, oh my gosh, how am I going to make payroll tomorrow type of situations. We all go through it, and it's important for us to be able to help those that won't have to go through it if they learn from us.
So if people come to you and they need to learn, is there a single thing that raises to your mind that says these are the things that we tell them to do, and this is the most common thing that people just won't do for some reason? Yes,
and in one word, plan. Whether it's a business plan, a marketing plan, or just sitting down and thinking about a plan. That is one of the biggest issues that we have. Entrepreneurs, business owners, managers, they all have goals, but they don't have the end goal in mind. And without that end goal, how do you know how to get there? You need a map. You need some sort of to-do list to hopefully get you to the success that you're looking for. And without a plan, that's very hard to do. So we really encourage folks to sit down and think about it, take things into steps. It could be a huge monster, but if you take it into smaller steps and into smaller bites, it's a lot easier to accomplish, and you'll find success a little bit quicker with a stronger foundation.
So what do you think that is? Do you think it's the ADD, ADHD, I just want to make something happen type personality that sometimes entrepreneurship seems to attract? Like, oh, what do you mean a plan? Or, I mean, what do you think that is?
I'll figure it out when I get there, right?
Absolutely. I think it's both of those things, in addition to the fact that most entrepreneurs want to do their business. They're very good at selling something, making something, creating something, and they don't necessarily want to have to slow down to think about the plan with insurance and their legal issues and accounting issues. And so it doesn't make it as much fun to them if they're not just allowed to do what they want to do. So having to slow down the entrepreneur to make sure that they follow a plan to ensure that the success of the business can be reached, I think that's one of the biggest.
And a lot of times, I mean, from my years of consulting, and especially working with emerging or startup type businesses, a lot of times I almost feel like, and you just said it eloquently, like I can almost smell who's going to be successful and who's not. And there's a mentality, there's a seriousness about it of not just having a plan, but working the plan. Absolutely. And, it's combining that great, I'm just going to start, I'm going to take that risk, but also, hey, I'm a serious person. This isn't just like, I'm going to try this idea today and tomorrow I'm going to try this idea.
Well, the folks that realize that they don't know what they don't know, and the folks that go out and look for answers are the folks that are going to be much more successful in a quicker and more stronger way. And therefore, I think it's really important just to take a moment and look at what you're doing, what your goals are, not only for the next 6 months, but for the next year and for the next 5 years, to be able to work that plan.
It's funny because whenever I help a company try to find space to lease or buy for their company to use, especially if it's somebody that's calling me the first time that I've never met before, and they tell me I'm going to do something that I haven't done before, my first question is, all right, do you have a business plan? And if the answer is no, a lot of times I won't work with them because
snob.
But a smart snob.
I'm kidding.
Well, I speculate my time. I don't get paid a dime until the transaction occurs. And so I have to handicap the deals that I'm going to work on and where I'm going to spend my time because I have a family to feed like everybody else.
Of course.
And so, that's a qualifying question.
Well, and here's the thing, Bob. A business plan does not have to be a 55-page document. As long as the business plan is your intention of how you want things to run and go and how you anticipate the business growing, that's all you need. And there's so many resources out there for assistance with that business plan, whether you go to bplans.com, whether you go to score.org, whether you go to the Collin SBDC or another small business development center. There are resources out there so that you don't have a caller trying to access you and your services without having something really to back up their ideas and their concepts.
What do you think of the idea of the one-page business plan? Was that a fad, or is that something that's real?
Cool book title. Sold a lot of books.
I know. Well, that was the business plan.
Yeah.
I think it's a wonderful idea for the busy entrepreneur, but it's probably a little too incomplete because you really need to get focused in on your target market, the industry outlooks. And so can you do all of that in addition to your financial projections and marketing strategies and the explanation of your services in one page? Not sure.
So it's a start. It's better than nothing.
It's a wonderful start. It's a wonderful start.
The executive summary.
So, Marta, I mean, I mentioned it earlier in the hook before we went to the break. I mean, congratulations on the city council.
Yeah, Richardson City Council.
Thank you very much. I'm very proud.
So you have the SBDC, you have a family, you have all of that. I mean, and I know balance because I know you really well through our volunteer efforts there at the SBDC. And balance is really important to you. How do you maintain balance? Where do you have to focus to stay on track?
That plan. In my personal life, I attach a lot of the business types of mantras, I think. And so I have had to learn how to rework my plan to include my civic responsibilities now, because service has always been a big part of our family. But now having civic and service responsibilities, work responsibilities, small business responsibilities, kids in high school, it's having a plan, having an outline, having a really, really good calendar to be able to keep on track, and having everybody on the same page, therefore being as communicative as possible on what I can and what I cannot do.
So give us three ideas, three things that you would tell someone who's coming to the SBDC or says they want to start a business. What are the three gems that you would give them?
Work on a business plan even before walking into the Small Business Development Center. Have something in writing that puts your thoughts down on a piece of paper. I think that's very, very important. Secondly is start thinking about the team around you, whether it's your banker, your wonderful insurance company, your attorney. You're going to need those pieces. You can't do it all alone, so have that team. And really take the risk. I really encourage folks not to be afraid of entrepreneurship or not being afraid of growing or making that move just because they're uneasy or the economy, or you can think of a million other things. I think it's one of those things just to make it happen.
So fail forward, fail fast.
Fail forward, fail fast. I truly believe in that.
So give us some of the classes that are coming up in the SBDC in the next month, with particular interest on one particular one there that I just handed you in yellow.
Well, of course, on the 21st of January, we'll have the healthcare reform class that Alkali puts on a quarterly basis.
Stephen
Nooner's group,
our own,
they have been an outstanding asset to our business community by doing whether it's consulting or whether it has been whether these free classes. It's been a wonderful
you also
opportunity.
Have classes on legal aspects of starting a business and
running a business, how to start,
CPA,
how to get funded, government contracting, a wide variety of classes.
Marketing, social media, all that.
Absolutely.
What's next?
What's next?
What's next for you?
Trying to find as many entrepreneurs to assist in the Collin County area.
Sounds like a great plan.
Absolutely.
We're happy to help you do that. Hopefully this is a start. Thank you so much, Marta, for being with us today. Thank you to the audience. If you'd like to get in touch with Marta, please visit collinsbdc.com. To connect with us in the show, please visit nextlevelshow.com, where you'll find today's conversation as well as other amazing guests we've had in the past. Help spread the word. If you heard something today and you know someone who's been kicking the idea around of starting, they don't know where to start, or someone who's just trying to take their business to the next level, help spread the wisdom.
And show us some love on social media. See you next week.
Thanks. Have a great week.
You have been listening to The Next Level, Conversations That Propel Business with Stephen Nooner and Bob Gibbons. Join us every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. for more prolific conversations that will take your business to the next level.